people, you know, I don't pretend to be known. I have a wonderful name, and I am trying to honor my father's philosophy. I'm Jean-Michel Cousteau, and I represent Ocean Future Society, which I created as a not-for-profit company after my father passed away to honor his philosophy.
Wonderful. And what do you think are some of the most important issues facing the ocean today?
Other than ignorance, which means we need education. Education should be put into every school.
I agree.
And every school should be put into water, into the ocean.
Starting at kindergarten, not starting...
As young as possible.
Right.
And we need to get the kids out of school and go and touch and feel and smell. And really, that, to me, I know that because we've done it with a lot of young people 20 years ago or more. And today they come back to us as adults and they said, you know, every decision I make has been impacted by the experience that I had 25 years ago. So that to me is a critical issue. And by doing this, we can bring the information back home, and that can be as far inland as it is possible. And we need to understand that every one of us has an impact on the ocean. Whether we drink water, we're drinking the ocean. You're going skiing up on the mountain, you're skiing on the ocean. And as that ice and snow melts, it goes into little streams, into the rivers, and with everything we put into it, into the ocean. So we continue today to use the ocean as a trash can and a universal sewer. It backfires on us.
So we're drinking it in the end.
Well, not only we're drinking it, but we're eating the fish, or they are fewer and fewer because they cannot reproduce. Then on top of that, we're putting huge impact on them with a completely disorganized fishing industry. And in addition to that, we are destroying coastal habitats, which is critical for most species during their lifetime, either to grow or to find protection or to find food, and on, and not even talking about millions and millions of birds who are completely dependent on the coastal habitats for their food, for nesting, for their protection. So we are fundamentally connected to the ocean when we are here, whether we live there.
So what do you think an average person can do to, you know, whether they live by the coast, they live in the middle of the country, what can people do to get together to try to help
Think
out?
money.
Money.
Money. Think money. By changing certain of our habits, or bad habits, we can save money. And in the process, hey, we're helping the environment. Whether it is stop using all these plastic bottles, make sure you don't leave your home without turning off the electricity. Buy a car which will do exactly the same job. It can be a hybrid and it can be smaller. And you know, at the end of the year, you're going to have more money. With your same income, you can improve your standard of living. And by the way, bravo, you're helping the environment, which means you're helping yourself. So, you know, there's many, many things we can all do.
And we just do.
Well, we have to do it.
Just do it. So what do you think of a plastic bag ban?
Well, not only I think it's the right thing to do, and it's already implemented in several locations.
Many countries.
More and more, but even in parts of the U.S. So, yes. You know, let me tell you a story.
Okay.
I grew up in south of France. The house where I grew up, I still have it. My mother made sure that I inherited it. When I go back there, in the kitchen, on the doorknob, there's a bag hanging. That's the bag that my mother used to use to go shopping.
And it's still
That's
there.
the bag I'm using when I go shopping. Why don't we fall in love with a bag? Something you like.
Right.
And keep using it again and again and again. I mean, we don't need to constantly throw things away, which, when I go to my shopping center in Santa Barbara, I live in Santa Barbara in California, when I go there, I go there with my bag. And every time I go there with my bag, he takes 5 cents out of my,
That's right.
which means he also makes 5 cents. He saved 5 cents because I'm not getting a plastic bag. At the end of the year, if I count the number of times I go shopping at that place, I could invite you to have a very nice dinner.
That's right.
Because I've saved that much money.
Okay.
Everybody can do that.
Right. I think the average American throws away about between 300 and 700 bags a year. That's a lot of plastic.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. And it ends up, guess what?
In the ocean,
That's
most
right.
of it. And a turtle is going to eat it thinking it's a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
And they die.
And they're endangered. And
Who wins? Nobody.
nobody.
If you're using plastic bag, you make sure you're recycling them.
That's right.
And they all fall out.
Do you have any ideas how we could get more local municipalities to implement plastic bag bans, or, you know, the 5 cent kind of?
Well, money is obviously an incentive. And if people save money by precisely making you recycle, by saving money for yourself, I think people will do it.
What's what's stopping the retailers from just jumping on and doing this themselves?
There are more and more of them doing it now, and I think they didn't know. They had no idea. See, retailers behind the counter, they do their job. It's the owners, it's the people way up there who should realize, oh, I can save money. I don't have to pass that cost on to my customers. They will come back because one, they save money, and two, they're doing something good. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody. So it's win-win for everybody.
It's just getting it started.
It's education, it's learning about it, it's knowing, or it's passing on the message. And the people can request that. They can go, you know, I will come back if you have the right system in place to be your client.
Like you said in the very beginning, it's about money. You know,
It's all about money.
we're talking
Absolutely.
with our pockets, with our dollars.
You know, nature should be looked upon like a capital. The capital has been made available to us at no cost. We need to manage it like you manage the business and live off the interest produced by the capital. And as long as we do that, it's fine. Right now, we're gobbling up the capital. We're heading toward bankruptcy. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants to go there. So we need to change, and we can, because now we know what to do.
What do you think are some of the changes that we can do with the global fisheries, commercial fisheries? What can we do to help them become more sustainable, and that it's not going to destroy their livelihoods, and it's not going to continually destroy the fisheries?
Well, tens of thousands of people have already lost their jobs. The only way, we have to think, what did we do on land?
Farmed.
There was nothing to hunt and gather, so we settled down, we became farmers. We need to farm. What are we farming? We're farming grains and herbivores, not carnivores. We don't farm lions and jaguars. Okay. So when it comes to the ocean, we need to do the same thing. And because we don't want to take the risks of having another explosion, or an Exxon Valdez, or Torrey Canyon in France, or Prestige in Spain, and so on, destroying our farm along the coastline, let's do it inland, where you control your investment. And let's do it where the demand is. Because if you're going to do it inland, might as well do it where the demand is, which can be Topeka, Kansas, or wherever. It doesn't matter. And that farm will be at the size of the local market. Now you avoid transportation, you're going to offer your local market fresh fish, and those farms today will put nothing in the environment, completely recycled. And what we call a waste, because there's no waste in nature, in that case is a resource, either for making energy or for feeding those farm fish. The answer is there. It's not an issue of, yes.
Well, that's what I think too, that we do know what the answers are, but why aren't we implementing them?
Money.
Money.
But people are going to make tons of money by farming the right species and making it available to the local market.
How could we get subsidies to fish farming rather than
It's being
subsidies
done.
to
It's
pig
happening.
farming? Good.
It's happening. It's an issue of time, but it is happening. Just today you have people who are raising algae, one cell plants from the ocean, and making energy which is propulsing ships and will fly airplanes.
Wonderful.
All of that is happening now. You have people who are getting water from the deep ocean, which is cold, and circulate that water in the air conditioning system of an hotel, and they're saving already, and I have the proof 5 days ago in South Pacific, at the Intercontinental Hotel, the owner is saving $500,000.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, he's not only saving money, but he's good to the environment because he's not burning that oil, which is unbelievably expensive down there. So, you know, it's win-win everywhere. It's just a matter, and I keep telling the industries, we're not going to get away from oil overnight. It's not going to happen immediately, but it will happen slowly. If you want to stay in business, you need to invest some of your profit, because you make billions of dollars of profit every year. Invest some of that money, a portion of it, into renewable energy. And it's not just the sun or the wind, it's much more complex than that. So it will be many different ways. And everybody wins.
Just a matter of doing it.
That's right.
So what are some of the other global issues that you see facing the oceans that you know, have hope for, that we are working toward, you know, solutions? So
well,
what are your solutions?
Obviously CO2 is a major issue, and the acidification of the ocean is a major issue. The warming up of certain part of the planet, that's why I don't call it global warming, I call it climate change, because there are places which will get colder. All of these issues need to be addressed, and that's what we're trying to do in a very constructive, positive way, coming up with answers and solutions.
How about the people that, you know, claim that there is no such thing as climate change? You know, you hear this today on the radio, you'll hear, you know, scientists claims.
They're misled.
Yes.
In a
but
sense,
then they misled the public.
Well, they misled the public, and it's unfortunate because nature, long before we showed up on the planet, you know, has been changing for the last 4 billion years. We only showed up about 3.5 million years ago. Now, the climate change has always happened, always. Warming up, cooling off, warming up, cooling off. But over millions of years. It didn't happen in decades. So, why is it happening in decades? We are responsible for it. We are responsible for the acceleration of the natural process. And that has to do, essentially, with our emission of CO2. So, nature, most of it anyway, can adapt to changes, but when it goes too fast, it won't. And it's not just us, it's what makes us happy and makes us smile. There are many species that will not be able to survive the speed at which the climate is changing. They can't adapt to it. So it's our choice. You're going to have, as a result of that, you're going to have hundreds of millions of people who are going to have to move. For a reason or another, either because they're going to be underwater or because the climate in their region is changing in such a way that they're going to move. So are we prepared for it?
I don't think so.
I mean, the infrastructure, for example, which has taken us hundreds of years, can we do it in decades? I'm not so sure.
Carbon sequestration. Are there any of those alternatives that you think would be good to pursue, or are they just all?
I think they all have consequences, but see, nature can take a lot of punishment, but there's a point where too much is too much, and we're reaching that point now. So we need to go back to what nature can handle.
But how do we, I mean, we're at this tipping point where the CO2 is at, what, 380 something today? I mean, it's never going to become less. So how do we, I mean, it just seems...
I think it should come less, to be less.
Well, it should. Do you think it will? Like
We can.
If we stop all carbon emissions today, it's going to
We're not going to stop overnight. We're not going to stop.
But I mean, if we did, it would just keep rising in the atmosphere and
for a certain time until it
couple of hundred
stabilizes
years.
and then it stops, go back down.
So if we do the right thing now, if we start to all get together.
Yeah, but do we care about our next generations, whether it's our great grandchildren?
That's the question.
That's the question. And that can change if we really care. I do.
I do.
And sometimes I get a little bit discouraged, and I look at a kid, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old in the eyes, and I say, I will never let you down. And I recharge my batteries and I go back to work.
Now you got something to do. You made a promise to a 5-year-old.
That's right. That's right. Because it's not his or her.
It's not their actions yet.
No. So there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Look forward to listening to you later.
You're very welcome. Thank